Hi everyone, today I want to talk about minor scales and show you two different ways that you can think about them for writing them or for identifying them. So there are three types of minor scales, what we call natural minor, harmonic minor, and melodic minor. So you notice that I have those written on the screen here, but I have them written twice in each of two columns. That's because I want to talk about two different ways that you can think of each one of these scales, how to write them. And the first way over on this side is going to be using a major scale. Okay, I'm assuming if you're watching the video on minor scales, you know your major scales. So one good way is to start with a major scale and turn it minor and make it into a minor scale, each of the three types. And the other way that we're going to do on the other side is to use the minor key to figure out what the minor key signature would be, and then use that to help us write each of the three minor scales. Now, the end result should be that both columns should be the same. The scale we're going to write on the left for use major scale is going to be the same as the scale we're going to write on the right where it says to use the minor key, if we do it right. So I want to start that and say I want to write F. All these F natural minor, F harmonic minor, F melodic minor. So on the left side here, if I want to use the major scale, that means I would start with F major, which has one flat. So I'm going to write F to F with one flat, and that gives me my F major scale. Now, to turn a major scale into natural minor, you need to do the following. Lower the third, the sixth, and the seventh scale degrees by a half step. Now, I wrote flat 3, flat 6, flat 7. It doesn't mean just add a flat sign. Sometimes it does, but it means lower by a half step, keeping in mind that lowering a natural by a half step gives you a flat, but lowering a sharp by a half step gives you a natural. So it doesn't just mean slap a flat sign on there and you're done. It means lower by a half step. So in this instance, I'm going to lower 3. That would give me A to A flat. Lower 6. That would give me D to D flat. And lower 7. That would give me E to E flat. Okay, and you can see that gives us our F natural minor scale. Natural minor. Okay, let's keep going down the list here. To make this harmonic minor, again, I'm starting from F major, so one flat, and then I go F to F. To take a major scale and make it harmonic, what you need to do is lower the third and lower the sixth by a half step, just the third and the sixth. So that would give me A flat here and D flat there. The E stays natural. Still have that leading tone. There. Okay. Now, here's the thing about melodic minor. It's different going up and going down. So it adds a little extra layer of difficulty here. So I'm going to go one flat for key of F major, and I'm going to write it up. And I'm just going to write down 2 notes from there because those are the notes that are affected. Everything the rest of the way down is not. So for melodic, on the way up, you lower the third. That's it. On the way down, you lower the third, the sixth, and the seventh. Wasn't lowering the third, the sixth, and the seventh natural minor? Yeah, so that means on the way down, it's a natural minor scale. Different going up than going down. So that would give me A flat on the way up, and then E flat and D flat, and the A flat still on the way down. Melodic minor. Okay, so that's how you take the major scale and alter it to make it each of the 3 types of natural minor. Okay, each of the 3 types of minor. So now let's do this on the other side where we want to start with the minor key. Okay, so you can watch the video on minor keys for a more in-depth explanation of where the minor keys come from. But the key for F minor is going to be 4 flats. F minor, A flat major, share a key signature. So that means the minor key for F minor. So instead of starting with F major, I'm going to start with the key of F minor. And then I'm going to write F to F. Now, This makes a natural minor scale. I'm done. There's no alterations needed. So the thing that you can say here is just use the minor key. That's it. And you're done. It gives me the same thing. And if you look left to right, like two sides of an equation, they might be written differently, but they sound the same. They produce the same effect. Instead of having accidentals on A flat, D flat, and E flat, I've got them contained in the key signature. Okay, so going on to harmonic now. So I'm going to hold on to this key signature of 4 flats for F minor. The alterations that need to be made to the harmonic minor scale in the key of F minor is to raise scale degree 7 by a half step. Raise scale degree 7 by a half step. And now in this instance, again, so it doesn't mean put a sharp there. It means raise by a half step. So if scale degree 7 is E flat, then that means when we raise it by a half step, we're going to get E natural. Harmonic. And same thing. If you look on both sides, we wrote the same thing 2 different ways. Okay, melodic minor. Again, we're starting with 4 flats. And then we want to go F to F. And then back down 2. For melodic, on the way up, you have to raise 6 and 7. And then on the way down, you unraise 6 and 7. Whatever you did to them on the way up, you undo it and put them back where they were on the way down. So that would mean giving me D natural here, E natural there, and then returning them to E flat and D flat on the way back down. And again, if you look to the left, you look to the right, it produces the same scale. It's just 2 different ways of thinking about it. So, when it comes to writing these, you can really write them however you want, depending on how the question is asked. I find that from a, music theory written, pen to paper standpoint, the right side is the easier way to go. There's less alterations that need to be made. But from a, playing your instrument kind of tactile thing, the left side might be the way to go if you're learning to play these scales, just because you already have the major scales underneath your fingers. So it's easier for me to say, okay, play that F major scale again, but lower 3 and 6, instead of saying, play that F scale again, but with the key signature of A flat and raise scale degree 7. That works pen to paper, but it's a little clunky on your instrument sometimes. So there you go. There's a breakdown of the 3 types of minor scales and a couple of different ways to write them.